gentlemen, today's side proposition strongly believes that we have to criminalize the payment of ransom because we think it is harmful and it is counterproductive. Now, first on to my definitions. Firstly, what is ransom? We think a ransom is a sum of money or any other payment that is demanded for the release of a prisoner. And by criminalize, we think that we would implement legislation that prohibits crime syndicates, terrorist groups, or common petty criminals to impose ransom. And we think that fines and jail terms will be meted out to both the people who demand the ransom and also to the people who pay it. We have two onuses for the opposition today. Firstly, they have to prove to us that allowing the payment of ransoms will facilitate the delivery of justice. And secondly, they have to prove to us that criminalization yields no benefits and criminalization would be counterproductive. Our policy today, our stance today is very simple. We think that the police should be given a monopoly over dealing with crimes. People should not be able to step in and intervene and be the third party involved and try to negotiate with the kidnappers for the release of prisoners. We think that the police are in the best position to deal with it, and everything should be left in their hands. Also, the police will not be able to negotiate on the basis of a ransom. Everything should be kept money-free. Now, the status quo right now is that most countries do not prohibit the payment of ransom, except countries like Algeria. However, the Philippines and the African Union have been trying to pass a resolution to ban ransoms, and we believe that this is the way to go. This is right, and today we shall prove in 3 key substantives that ransoms should be criminalized. Firstly, we think that. Firstly, on the principle level, we think that it affirms criminal acts. Secondly, we'll be speaking on practical aspects of the case, which is about how it funds criminal activities and how it obstructs justice. Now, first on to the principle aspect of this debate. We think that it is inherently and fundamentally flawed to send a message that to allow ransoms because it sends the message that you're actually legitimizing allowing and enabling such criminal acts to occur. We think that when ransoms are allowed, it incentivizes criminal activities of taking hostages because kidnappers know that it is likely and possible to receive a payout. And this perpetuates the epidemic nature of ransoms in certain parts of the world, like Mexico and Somalia. In Mexico, over 40% of the people are said to be afraid, to be constantly threatened by kidnappings. No, thank you, sir. So we think that in this case, where kidnapping is so epidemic and so prevalent in a society, we think that it is the role of the government to step in and to actively prevent this from happening by criminalizing ransoms. How does this work? When we criminalize ransoms, the criminals know that it is less likely that they will receive a payout, and that people do not offer the criminals payout, and they do not give leeway to the criminals because they know that they will get persecuted in the end, and in the end they will receive punishment also. So we think that this effectively shuts down an avenue for the criminals. And secondly, on the second tier, we think that criminals, all these kidnappers, when we are extremely greedy, and when we allow ransoms to happen, what only happens is that they start to demand more and more money. For this, to give you the example of Somalia, the Somalia piracy incident, the Somalia piracy epidemic in 2008. Over $80 million was given to such pirates, and are they satisfied? No. Was any resolution reached? No. Was there any tangible benefits that happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And what only happens is that they start to ask for more and more money. Yes, sir.
Ransom allowed us to capture South Somalian pirates and bring them to justice. Why is it necessary to criminalize ransom then?
Now, sir, we think that there are other more legitimate ways of bringing all these pirates to justice, rather than to give them ransoms and to enable them to continue. Enable them to start asking for even more money and to enable them to carry out their pirate activities. And finally, We think that affirming and legitimizing their actions is definitely not the way to go, because we think that it is principally flawed, and as a government, it should not be allowed to happen. And secondly, on facilitating criminal activities, on how ransoms actually actively help to fight and support criminal activities. We think that ransom payments are used to fund criminal activities. Firstly, on a domestic level, we are looking at small petty criminals. Firstly, it helps them to escape from police detection. The ransom is used to help them escape from the police and to escape detection. And ultimately, we think that this obstructs justice, and this doesn't bring the criminal to the ends that he deserves. Furthermore, we think that ransom payments, on a more serious level, ransom payments help to fight international terrorist organizations. We give you many examples in this case. We look at the Islamic Merak that relies on kidnappings to finance their terrorist activities. They have an annual budget of $10 million. $10 million, ladies and gentlemen. Can you imagine how that $10 million will be used to fund criminal activities like buying bombs, purchasing of weapons, facilitating recruitment of terrorists, and sophisticated attacks in the United States and their allies. Furthermore, the Al-Qaeda in Islamic Merak is empowered to share resources with the Al-Qaeda and other radical Islamic groups in the region, and it increases their operational capacity to carry out strikes against nations. We think that it only contributes to instability and terrorist acts in the region, and this is something that we would not allow to continue. Another example would be in the Philippines, where the Abu Sayyaf militia used kidnapping ransoms to finance deadly bomb attacks. We think that all these examples will already show you how the funding of terrorist activities is actually supported through the payment of ransoms, and by legitimizing and allowing this to happen, the government doesn't do anything to help it, and in fact worsens the situation and creates more instability and insecurity in the world. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to propose.